Okay, let's talk about a few long-range hunting tips. Everything you need to be thinking about from the time you spot that big old 4x4 with kickers to the time that you shoot it and then actually recovering that animal. It's nice to have a spotter. If you have a friend with you that can actually watch that animal go down, make sure that they can see that 4x4 with kickers before you pull the trigger, because once you pull the trigger, you have no idea what happened unless you're shooting some super slick, low recoil with a muzzle brake, something that you can actually follow your shot through the scope, which is huge. I'm shooting a 7 mag that's pretty lightweight and it kicks. And after it kicks, it's over. I have no idea what happened. And I feel like that's probably most of us, right? So having somebody there with you is by far like number one, because it's great to be able to shoot 600 yards, but if you can't find the animal after you shot, that's no good. Next best to having a spotter, having a friend with you, is recording it. So if you can take a spotting scope or a camera and attach your phone to it and actually record the shot, again, that's next best, because now after you take that shot, you can go back and review the footage and you can see clearly that, oh, I shot it, looks like I hit it, and it ran, down here to the left. So at least you have a starting point, because without anything, you take that shot, let's say you hit it, let's say it ran down to the left. You have no idea it ran down to the left. So you get up there and you don't even have a starting point. You're just going to start doing circles, because you don't know if it ran up, down, left, right. You don't know. So anyways, having someone to verify what happened after you took the shot is crucial. Number two, the next thing, regardless of whether you have a spotter with you or you're filming it, before you even take the shot, you should know where that animal is in relation to some sort of landmark before you pull the trigger. So you're looking through the scope, and I know that none of us are perfect, and especially in the heat of the battle, buck fever sets in. It is hard to think about these things, but trust me, a couple of times of spending forever looking for an animal that died right where you pulled the trigger, it'll cure you of that. So anyways, know where he is before you pull the trigger, and it needs to be something unique. Even if it's within, say, 50 yards or within your scope, find something unique and say, okay, he's just above those 3 black rocks, right? Something like that. And 3 black rocks might not be a good example. I tried to use a giant juniper one time, and I took the shot and got over on the hillside, and turns out all the junipers looked giant. So to this day, I don't know. I don't know if I hit that animal or if I completely missed, because once I got on that hillside, I did like a grid pattern looking for him, but the truth of it is I didn't really know where on that hillside I took that shot. So hard lessons learned, but now I know. Find something that is unique in relation to that animal before you pull the trigger. The third thing is know where you shot from. So after you take the shot, high five your buddy, and then get out your phone and mark it on onX exactly where you're standing. And then also mark where you think that animal was standing when you shot. That way when you get over on the hillside, you can pull out your phone and line yourself up with where you were. What I think is even better than using onX is I just carry a cheap little hunter's orange vest and throw that sucker up in a bush and then take off hiking. That way when you get up on that hillside or wherever it is that you shot that animal, you can 100% look back and verify exactly where you were laying, sitting, whatever, when you took that shot. Another thing you can do is have your spotter or your friend stay where you shot from, and then just you go look for that animal. Because let's just say that, for instance, on my giant juniper experience, if I would have had a spotter and I'd have got up on that hillside, from his perspective, he would still be able to see what we thought was the giant juniper. And then with hand signals, whatever, he could guide me to the exact juniper that I thought that buck was standing next to. So having somebody stay behind, and then once you are standing where your spotter tells you, yeah, that's where you shot, then he can follow you. But having somebody stay behind and guide you to it, onX can't compete with that. Marking where you think he was standing and then both of you taking off, it's not as good as having somebody 100% guarantee where you're headed. How to know where to shoot when there's a wind, a crosswind. So when we're talking long range hunting, we're talking beyond, let's say, 400 yards. The wind is a giant factor. I mean, it's everything when it comes to long range shooting and long range hunting. So if you've watched my how to shoot 500 yards video, then you know that I just say don't take long shots. We're not hunting long range. If you could fly a kite today, well, that's not a good day to shoot 500 yards, all right? But let's just say that it's just a normal day and there's just a side breeze, and you at 500 yards and there's a slight side wind, then you can guarantee that that bullet is going to drift with that wind. So what I do is you take your kill zone, whatever you define as the breadbasket, okay? And that wind is blowing this way, then I'm going to shoot as far over into that wind, but staying within the kill zone as I can, knowing that the bullet should drift probably, even better, like dead center. But even if it doesn't at all, it still hits where I know that animal is going down. If you like this kind of thing, don't be afraid to hit that like button.